Welcome to All Home Care Matters, the show where we discuss all things home care, with discussions on important age-related matters and topics. Brought to you by Enriched Life Home Care Services, the #1 rated home care provider in Michigan by Top Rated Local.
Hello, and welcome back to All Home Care Matters. If this is your first time visiting us here at the show, we want to say thank you for taking time out to be with us today. We appreciate how valuable everyone's time is, and that's why we try and make each episode here at All Home Care Matters something that will hopefully matter to you. As you can see, today's show is a little bit different, but I am honored to welcome 3 remarkable people, Martin, Giorgio, and Todd, the team behind Magic Horizons. Welcome, Giorgio and Martin Koppehele, the founders of Magic Horizons, along with the Director of U.S. Sales, Todd Keats. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you today?
Wow, great to be here, Lance. Thank you very much for having you in your great podcast.
Yes, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. I want to first start off, full disclosure, I'm a brand ambassador for Magic Horizons. I absolutely love it. I got my headset right here. I've been playing around with it. We can talk about that later. But I want to kind of explain first off for viewers and listeners before we get into the questions, how do you describe or explain Magic Horizons to somebody who may not be familiar with it?
Maybe I start with that question. It's a very good question. It's a holistic platform in virtual reality for anxiety reduction, stress management, and also less pain sensation, and it can work for elderly who live in isolation, for patients in hospitals full of worries, and for the staff itself, which has a very high stress level.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. You know, Giorgio, I'm going to stay with you for a moment. What prompted you or motivated you to create Magic Horizons? What was the genesis or the motivation behind it?
Yeah, the genesis was in our family because our dad fell and he was very long in bed and he was a bit bored from the television program. And in our history, we are always been immersive media producers. We made 3D Blu-rays, 360 planetarium, relaxation shows before we packed all our knowledge in these little smart VR glasses. So we visited him, and when we did the first experiences, even before founding Magic Horizons, we put him into the headset. And he went crazy for joy and had tears in his eyes. And this motivated us so strong. We did some more tests with elderly, with patients, and we said, yes, this technology should be used for good, not only for games and horror, but it can be used for relaxation, showing beauty and serenity, beautiful nature, beautiful applications. And because it's so intensive, because you have the feeling of presence, of being there.
Yeah, and I can say from firsthand use, one of my favorites is the Mars, scenery, and then also the moon, which is good for just exercise even, and we can get into that part later. But your brother is the co-founder along with you, Martin. Martin, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Talk about some of your technical background.
Yeah, first, thanks for having us. It's a real pleasure. Yeah, Giorgio and I, we founded Magic Horizon together. It's not the first company we founded together. It's already the third one. So we are quite experienced in this field. And the background, we came, like Giorgio said, from music, multimedia, video production. And my personal career from the technical side is as an audio engineer. I worked in several studios together with Giorgio, so we learned everything up from the scratch, which is related to audio, which is related to video, which is related to post-production, immersive media. So this is what we really love. And when we get in touch the first time with virtual reality, it opened up another door for us to go the road much further to create such immersive experiences.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Giorgio, when we first met, one of the things that really resonated with me was, you're trying to not only engage people and stimulate them and decrease their stress levels, or people that are dealing with PTSD, but there's also, like I mentioned earlier, a little bit of an exercise component as well, with like the kinesiology and, exercises like that, and numbers and things. But you have some significant backing in evidence-based research that supports what you guys are doing at Magic Horizons. Why did you decide right from the start to really cooperate with more well-known famous universities, if you will, like Humboldt University, Berlin, King's College, London, USC, and I believe you even have some support from the Mayo Clinic here in the States as well, correct?
Yeah, they are our first customers. They use it, and we are in a permanent exchange of ideas. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, when we founded it, we say it should be the best immersive media producers, understanding how is our vision, how can we make or create, if it's artificial or real nature. It does need totally different skills to film in Thailand or film gorges or beaches in real nature with a team and VR cameras is completely different than creating a surreal or CGI computer animated videos like visiting the Mars, like you have mentioned. So all this has to come together to form one big unity. And I think all these skills were needed, but we needed the universities to tell us which frequencies, where do we put the cameras, not to get a lot of things are done from other companies in VR which are not correct. For example, they place the cameras too high, so you have the fear of height. They move the camera quite fast. That might sound interesting, but our customers are mainly lying in bed or seated. So your inner ear says, I'm here. But your sight says, oh, I'm driving, let's say, a sports car. And then you get seasick. So it was super important, not only to avoid mistakes, but to get scientifically well-founded advice. Which frequencies, which colors do relax most? It's a lot of green and blue. Which audio frequencies in the so-called binaural beats? And then we started here in Germany with the Humboldt University, and out of a sudden, we got a contact to the famous King's College. They are actually doing 2 studies and planning 1 more. So we teamed up with Professor Lucia Valmachia. She's the expert. And we learned a lot what they are looking for, like phobia in virtual reality. Get rid of your phobia, which we are not doing because you need a doctor. We always had in mind it should be a unique one-stop solution for a lot of people who can use it, like the US veterans in the so-called home use. And we started with the relaxation in real nature, in CGI worlds, but then instantly we say it should be not only passive, it should motivate people, it should activate them. So we had the crystal cave, and out your hand, leaves and colors and butterflies are coming, and especially elderly love it, and we can activate them. Even if they are lying in bed, we can shift the horizon. And then we dig deeper. And my wife is hypnotherapist, a meditation coach, and Martin's wife, Gabi, she is kinesiologist. And so they brought their expertise, and then we teamed up with even more universities. Like we have the honor to cooperate with Professor Skip Rizzo, very well known in the US at the University of Southern California. We work for dementia studies again in the UK with the NHS Cambridgeshire, and we have more universities who want to cooperate, and this gives super precious insights how the vision does work, how 3D audio does work, and how does relaxation work in combination. I think the best doctors, universities should tell us what to do, and the very best designers, artists, really people with a lot of passion should make very beautiful VR experiences for recurring usage. That's our mission.
Yeah, and you can really tell, just my experience using it, you're talking about the leaves and the colors, and, there's bubbles, and, I will say for my own personal use, I was telling Todd this the other day, I was using the numbers game, right? I like the ones that you can like interact with. And I told Todd, I said, next thing I know, I was doing it on the 360 setting. I didn't realize it, but I was getting a little dizzy all of a sudden. And I couldn't figure out why, and I'm like, well, I'm spinning around the room like a top. But but it was really, but it was engaging though. Something that maybe I wouldn't do if it was on my kids, video game system. This though, you're actually, you're using your sight, you're using your balance, your coordination, hand and eye. And it was really stimulating. And and even the other ones like swimming with the dolphins, you feel a sense of peace and calm, just a few minutes of use. It's very powerful. Do you know if there's anything else like this on the market?
Of course, everybody has competitors, but I think Magic Horizons is super unique.
Right.
Martin can elaborate more on that.
Yeah, I would agree. My daughter has a MetaQuest 3 that Santa Claus brought her for Christmas, and I find this a lot more engaging than her MetaQuest. That's more just video games. And you really touched on it, Giorgio, and I think I want to stress on it before we go to Todd. Yours is designed to produce an effect and to reduce symptoms, and it's all scientifically based, and it's the highest of quality, the colors, the environment, even like you were saying, like the cameras and everything. With something like more commercial, that's just for anybody to get, right? Like a MetaQuest, that's more for entertainment value. It's not really providing it could, and I'm not saying it doesn't, but this is more scientifically based product versus like a commercial toy product, right?
Absolutely, but maybe I can amend. Magic Horizons is software only. We are pure software company, so we are hardware agnostics. Our software does run also on a Meta Quest because we use just the hardware of different vendors, but it's especially me squeezing out. I'm the so-called pixel hunter. So I'm happy to hear that you like the colors, because we all have to know the spatial computing, like Apple calls it, the VR, AR, or the blended reality, which will be the next computing platform, is absolutely usable. It's mature, but it has a high evolution potential compared to smartphones or laptops, which are at the highest level. They are with the displays higher than our side is, but there's some air still above in the XR business. But we squeeze out of these devices everything that is really possible, because it's not a small video. It's stereoscopic 3D balls 360 around the user. So we strive very hard to get the best out of that.
Yeah, no, and it is 360. It's incredible. Todd, let's go to you. You're here based in the U.S. and you partnered up with Magic Horizons, and I believe you're the director of their North American sales. And you do your own tremendous work with the things you're involved with. But with Magic Horizons, what was it that appealed to you to partner with them?
I'm going to go back to the beginning because that's really part of this story, an important one. I met Giorgio in 2017. He was in San Francisco with his wife, Suna, and they were at a pitch event. And he was pitching to me and a number of other people who were there. And we all had like Monopoly money. And we could give different money to different people. And Giorgio was just so passionate about what he did. I could feel it from the moment I started talking with him, and I loved his concept. And so he came up to me and he said, I need another $1 million so I can be a part of the next round. And so his passion, first and foremost, won me over. And I gave him the $1 million in Monopoly money. And they went on to pitch, and we became friends. And then 2 years later in 2019, I sent him a message and said, hey, I'm taking a respite from caregiving. I'm going to Paris. Any chance you're going to be there? And he said, absolutely. Coincidentally, I'm going to be there with Suna. We're at an event. He said, why don't you become an unofficial part of the team and come over? And we had a wonderful experience there presenting Magic Horizons. And then he said, during that, he said, hey, can you meet us next week in Amsterdam? We're going to be there, and you can meet Martin and Gabi. And I was able to switch things, and one thing led to the next. And that's how I ended up working together, and I've loved it, heading up their US operation, and it's thrilling. And so I'm very in alignment with their beliefs in health and mental well-being, and how that ties into emotional, physical, psychological well-being. We all know it's interrelated. It's a holistic view, and we're very in alignment in that and pretty much everything else. So in terms of the core verticals for Magic Horizons, I like to say can be used anywhere. And I know both Martin and Giorgio feel the same way. It can be used anywhere because everybody can benefit. Right. Now, of course, every business has core verticals that they end up focusing on, because as a startup operation, and even though Magic Horizons has been around for, 6-7 years at this point, you're still a startup. You're building, and we're building and building. So the way things have evolved, I would say the core verticals, number one is healthcare here in the US. So there's different, because there's core verticals in different areas. So, but healthcare here, so hospitals, medical providers, the VA, Veterans Health Administration, they're all using it. Then you have seniors and senior centers, because as you can imagine, it helps seniors with isolation and kinesiology and boredom, cognitive abilities. Then employer groups, just employers overall, could be Microsoft, who's a client in Germany, and BMW and so forth. Corporations can use it for employee well-being. And I'll tie one in as an example, which happens to be both an employer and a healthcare provider, which is Mayo Clinic. And they use it for staff well-being. And it's pretty amazing what they've done. They're going into the third year of using it. And we love working with them. It's really exciting, but it helps their employees. And I know we're going to talk a bit later about the benefits a little bit more. So I'll hold off on my excitement. I'll talk more about that. And then, of course, I don't know if we can call this a core vertical, but it is for us, which is the veterans, and working with the Veterans Health Administration. And that's a big one for us. And there's a list of others. It's used in hospitality. It's used, in sports. It's used in many, because it helps people relax, and it helps address stress and anxiety. And I'll get into more about that in a bit.
Which is, critical, especially not only for the care recipient, but the care provider, right? I mean, if you're a family caregiver, you are, running on all cylinders around the clock. And this is a good way for you to decompress and relax and kind of rejuvenate your mind and body. Martin, let's go to you. What are some of the USPSs of Magic Horizons, and what makes Magic Horizons so unique?
So I think some of the most important points Todd and Giorgio already mentioned. So I think our main USP is that we are an holistic application, that we cover the real nature. Like you mentioned, we cover the interactive exercises. We have a very fantasyful CGI computer-generated applications like the Mars or the journey through space. So we can really offer the customer and the user a very, very broad range of applications, and everybody can find himself in many applications and find their favorites, like swimming with dolphins, or have a fantasy trip through a painting which came from like Italy, like the Toscana and stuff like that. So you have very fantasy things, but of course the real nature. You have guided meditations, you have breathing exercises, and of course, these more activating exercises, like you also mentioned, the number training. You have the moon game, where you throw with moonstones into black holes in the sky. So you really can motivate people to activate, to relax, to forget about sorrow, stress, and of course, help them for reducing pain and anxiety. So I think these holistic approach, this is one thing. And I think also USP is how we design the user interface, because we not only have these broad range of applications, we have certain entries to these applications, like a trainings plan with over 150 units, where you can really train your mental health without thinking about which experience should I use today, because we have a very scientifically researched trainings plan. We have the possibility to use pre-created playlists depending the mood you are in, or you can create your own playlist. So also from the user interface, you have a lot of possibilities to find your right experience. We also have an entry which is called "What do you need?" So I answer 2, 3 quick answers and get suggestions of different applications which I can use instantly for the mood I'm being in, just in the moment. So this is also, I think, a USP altogether. And of course, like we mentioned before, that everything we do with scientific research. That means we are not some crazy guys who have ideas. Of course, in fact, when we find ideas for new applications, it's like a bunch of crazy guys which have ideas. But then we sit together with the clinicians, with the universities, and say, okay, we have an idea in this direction. Could it work? And if it works, how should we produce? How go we then? We make the evaluations. And this is also a very strong USP, that everything is with the scientific background. So we have combined what Giorgio said in the beginning. We try to make these scientifically researched experiences where you have a guaranteed effect for you with the best visuals, that you have a pill which tastes very sweet. So you have a lot of fun. It feels like entertainment, like you said, like a normal commercial entertainment. You have a feeling like it, but it's everything is really designed for the purpose that you can relieve pain, that you can reduce stress, and have a benefit for many, many people.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, the audio is also a key component and very relaxing as well.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning it. I really forgot it, because the audio is also a very strong USP, the binaural beats, which are frequencies led to the left and right ear, which are slightly different. And within the brain, it's stimulating certain areas in the brain and the brain waves, and you can make an even stronger effects of relaxation up to activating people.
Yeah, and we have our own binaural audio mixing technology for all kinds of music. So we came from Blu-ray, so we have 4 different audio layers. You can hear nature sounds with some music, with more music, with drums, without, or just the nature. Or if you go to the voice-driven content, like the meditations, you can hear one day, let's say, free your mind, with the speaker plus soft music plus nature, or just the speaker in nature, or just the pure nature. So you can customize under the hood, and it's always 4 parallel audio streams, and they are binauralized. That means like 3D audio, and the actual headsets, like the Picos, like the Matas, have quite good in-ear, or some not in-ear but built-in speakers, and with headphones, good headphones, another universe is opening. So we take care about the audio. We've won a lot of prizes. We were honored to work with Dolby. And in our past career, we had the honor to work with great artists like Placido Domingo or Alan Parsons, who is well known. He produced the Pink Floyd and others, and Alan Parsons project. So we were very honored to work with these great artists. So quality in picture and audio does matter. It's not like, oh, it's for elderly. So it is not really important. Is it sharp or not? Is the music cheap or not? We do it with a lot of passion because we want that a broad range of users can use these wide range of applications. And maybe what comes together is I had the honor to present at the German pavilion at the World Expo in Dubai. Then we had the exposure in Los Angeles at the VMET. We've taught at the VA Immersive in Washington. So we get feedback from people in the US, in of course in Europe. We are based in Germany, so we are traveling whole Europe. And we try to find a universal language. We are not a touristic app. A forest is a forest. A beautiful beach is a beautiful beach. Of course, we want to integrate different landscapes. And the ones we can't film, we have our own CGI studio, we rebuild. So cool down is like being in Antarctica, and it would be impossible with VR cameras. Too cold, too expensive, a big CO2 print, but we can model that. So we can also do nature replacement. And I think all this comes together in one huge app.
I would agree. It's incredible, Giorgio. You all kind of have mentioned how it's a holistic approach. How would you describe your holistic platform and the wide range of the applications? Because they're not all the same. There's different categories and things. How would you describe that, Giorgio?
Yeah, I think we learn from Humboldt. There are 5 main categories. It's the real nature. And some competitor says, oh, it's expensive traveling the world. And it's totally different getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning, cleaning beaches, organizing a team. It's totally hot there to get it filmed. To teach a team filming in Thailand is completely different than sitting with our Spanish Chilean team and working out what will be a relaxing Mars experience. So it's the nature, it is the interactive, it's the binaural beats, it is all voice-driven content ranging from meditation to help falling asleep to fairy tales for children. And it's also in the US quite common, a bit surrealistic psychedelic VR. So you have like daydreams distracting you, because our brain is not really doing multitasking. If you say, oh, I have problems with my boss, I have problems here and there, it's like a hamster wheel and it's coming back and back. And then you start, I can't sleep good, I have a pounding heart. And these physical symptoms even speed up that hamster wheel. And we are like a digital virtual stop sign. We say stop. Because what would happen if now we are here in Germany, it's quite cold, it's not many daylight, it's kind of winter depression. If we would have a magic button and like in Star Trek, we would teleport to the most beautiful beach, what would we do? We look around, we take a deep breath and say how beautiful, and all stress would go. And that's what we make with Magic Horizons. Without sending your body, we send your brain, your soul, your heart, your feelings, with the sight and with the hearing, which are our 2 most important senses. And this takes people 5 to 10 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. That is very beneficial. So the training plan, for example, represents 1 year pre-programmed. So having all these 5 touch points from nature, binaural, interactive, voice-driven content, and fantasy trips, and we will go even further in the updates. We will have new experiences pushing the boundaries, but these are the core ones who can instantly help to stop this hamster wheel, or like I would say, we are the virtual oasis for everybody ready for the island. So you have this stop anytime, any place. You put on the headset and it's there.
That's incredible.
And you are there.
Yeah, that's incredible. Todd, I want to go to you because you deal with a lot of the sales and the customers for Magic Horizons. We've talked about a lot of the benefits, but in your mind, what are some of the main benefits for the customers, and how do you create that value and the meaningfulness for the customers?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I want to start with talking, just a note about, we've all been talking and mentioning, I haven't yet, so I'm going to, scientific based. And, that's really important. Number one, a lot of people can misconstrue that. They can misunderstand it, and they think, oh, scientific based, how boring. But it's not. Scientific based is providing the basis for why this works so well and why it's been proven over and over again in the marketplace, whether it's here in the US or over in Europe or wherever it might be. So that's really important to understand. So in terms of customers, there's different benefits in their nuanced ways, but there is an overall, it's about well-being, and it's about, so if we talk about an employer, why would they offer it to their employees? Well, it helps their employees. We know by statistics, we all have seen statistics about how stressed out employees are. It helps them lessen their stresses and anxiety. It helps them be, of course, then they're more productive. So it helps the employers because they're having a more productive employee and a happier employee. So that's one example. If you talk at healthcare, I could spend an hour on the different applications and why it can work in different applications. But if you look at it, so let's take an example, and I'm not going to name names of clients or customers, but if you take a hospital and they're using it in a pre-surgery or a pre-procedure example, it helps that person relax, which just common sense and science shows you that then the outcomes can be better because that person's relaxed. It makes the patient relax. It has the clinician being able to do their job better. And so you also then, it can be said that there's better outcomes overall. If you look at a doctor, let's just say, and a doctor wants to prescribe this and have it used, and we're seeing this, in different situations. Again, I'm not going to mention where specifically, but if you're looking at a clinician who, rather than prescribing an additional medication, they can prescribe Magic Horizons, which is scientific based, just like a pill is scientific based. So if you're taking that, you can prescribe that. It can perhaps lessen the need for prescription medication because it's going to help them relax. So there's cost implications, there benefits, not implications. There's cost benefits. There's also healthier benefits, and that's the bottom line, because that's what Giorgio and Martin from day one it's been about. As Giorgio said, I think it was Giorgio who said it just a few minutes ago, but I've been hearing this for 5-7 years. It's to help people get off the hamster wheel, because we all know plenty of people who are on that wheel, and if we can help them, and we do, then let's get them off of that wheel. It serves them better, it serves their employers better, and their healthcare overall.
That's incredible. Yeah, I agree. It's, healthcare overall, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in the coming years, whether it's, in the next 4 years with this new presidency or the following term, but it is coming because there are so many more effective, proven ways than just, sitting somebody in front of a television, right? And that's not engaging, it's not stimulating, it's not mood uplifting. It could even be decreasing, depending on what's on the television. Martin, I want to go to you. What are some of the main areas with Magic Horizons VR software that it's really meant for? I know we've kind of touched on this, but in your words, What would you describe it as?
So we have 3 main verticals, especially here in Europe, but it looks quite similar in the US. This is for seniors, this is in the whole medical field, and it's for employees, the field of employee well-being. So here in Europe, we are very strong in providing our software for senior care homes. There we are working with the buzzword, the virtual travel, for people who are not able to make traveling anymore, bring back some joy, remembering of being in nice places in the world, so make the world a bit better. We are working especially with the NHA Cambridgeshire in UK for research for positive effects with dementia. There we have very, very good results for calm down elderly people with dementia, which makes life for them easier, but also for the caregivers much easier. Then we have also the field of activation for the seniors with our interactive games to engage them, to motivate them, to move more, to use their arms, to use the upper body. And it also activates people who are normally a bit lazy and say, okay, I've seen nature again, I want to go out. So we really can give them some input that they, change their life in some way. And overall, it's some kind of mood enhancement also for the elderly people. And in the medical field here over in Europe, we are medical products. So we are really in the hardcore use in hospitals for the use in medical treatments, for they use it for pre-sedation, for operations, for infusions, for all kind of really hardcore medical use within the operation suites. So this is a very strong field here in Europe for us, but of course for the patients also the effect which Todd mentioned for reducing the stress for the patients, reducing the anxiety, because this is very important beside the effect of reducing pain, reducing the anxiety and the stress. Because if a patient is more relaxed, doesn't feel so much stress, the whole process of operation and the process after the operation is running much better if you have a patient which is really more relaxed, is calmed down. So this is a great benefit also for giving at the end of the day less medication for anxieties or even for pain. So this is a great benefit. And then of course we have the big field of employees, which is $1 trillion problem worldwide for all these stressed out people, because all the issues which are related, the loss of jobs, the loss of productivity, which is behind, is a real economic problem worldwide. And I think it's similar if it's in the States or here in Europe or different countries in the world. We all have this problem due to the modern world, to the media, technology, the pressure, of course, politics, war. This is all bad for our mental condition. And with our application, the people have the opportunity to get out of this mental hamster wheel instantly, like a push on the button. And these are the 3 main focus fields we are working in. And like Todd said, the 4th one is like the veterans. This is a bit separated, but here we are also addressing the same effects, like people who are under stress, who has problems, where we need a mood enhancement, where we can motivate them again. And for us, it's an honor that we can also work in this field.
Yeah, absolutely. Todd, I want to go to you real quickly as we're wrapping up. What is your vision and mission for Magic Horizons?
Yeah, so my vision and mission is very much in alignment with what Giorgio and Martin feel overall. Is, as we've been saying, helping people off the hamster wheel. And you've been hearing for the past half hour or so all the various ways and where we work. And so when we look at the US, it's great. I mean, keep in mind, we started working together 3 months before COVID hit. And then COVID just put for everybody, didn't know. So I'm really proud of what we've done as a team. since things started to come back, and now we're working with healthcare institutions, employers, the VA, and so my mission is to get this in the hands of everybody, whether it's through an employer that offers it to employees, certainly within a healthcare setting, so they can offer it to patients to help them in a myriad of ways. Those are a couple of ways for sure, and we'd love to get it into every hand of every veteran in the country as well, just so that they can benefit. We know that they've been out there protecting us here, but also helping protect the world. They have PTSD, TBIs that they deal with, and many other things that we know this can help with. And I say we know it because we did a very successful pilot with the VA in 2023, where 92% of the veterans said it helped them relax. We're very proud of that. I love saying that. And that's very similar to anybody who uses it when we look at the statistics. So that's my mission and my vision, is to get this into everybody's hands so we can help them.
Yeah, that's incredible. Before we go to Giorgio, I just want to ask each of you, and you guys can answer in whatever order you want. And this is one of those things where it really depends on the mood you're probably in, or the day that you've had, or what you might have going on. But I just want to ask each of you, what's your favorite application on Magic Horizons?
So my favorite one is still swimming with dolphins.
Swimming with dolphins. All right. How about you, Todd?
Mine, it might be the first one, guys. You can tell me. Echoes in White.
Yeah, it's the first one. Yeah.
Giorgio?
For me, they are all babies. Which child do you prefer? So I love all of them, but if I have to focus on one group at least, it's the more surrealistic, like Relax on Mars, Echoes in White, Underwater Dreams, because you can walk freely, and the limit is your imagination and the advice, of course, but you can enhance and push the boundaries. So I think everybody finds out different ones, and we hear from customers they like the very static color rooms because they can immerse in a beautiful green or yellow, which can help as well. So again, it's much fun to create this, but the meaningfulness and the purpose, it's always the first target we want to aim. How do we benefit to customers, to real people, to elderly, to patients, to doctors, to stress out people? And as I want to add, like Todd mentioned, we are more than honored to serve the ones who served, because they protect all our lives. They have seen probably horrible things we can't even imagine. And if we can give them a bit relaxation, a bit peaceful, bring a bit brightness and color in their life, that gives me goosebumps. So it was really amazing speaking to the people and hearing the feedback.
That's incredible. I usually ask this question of guests when we're at the end. I'm going to ask you this, Giorgio. How do you envision the future of the industrial metaverse? Like, what do you expect to see in the future?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think the industrial metaverse is still starting. It's on one hand kind of mature. It's there for years, but now we see the use cases. There's a so-called Gartner hype cycle. So if a new technology coming, everybody says this will save the world. And then we say, oh, the first VR glasses, they were clumsy, you needed PCs, super expensive. That's all gone. It's affordable, it's cheaper than smartphones. It can offer you new worlds, which is amazing. And you can call it blended reality or spatial computing. I think all computing started with PC. That was level one, or laptops. Then we had the next level, that smartphone, that changed the world again. And now going into like a 3D internet, being there, going there with all the senses, can revolutionize whole industries. So let's say prototyping. You are based in the US, we in Germany, somebody else is in Middle East or wherever. So we can work together on a new car, but we don't have to model it. We model it in virtual reality. We walk around, we change the colors, we do digital whiteboarding. Companies can send you a VR device at home. And before you start working, you see in 360. That's how the company is built. That's the emergency exits. That's the way we make a party, and you're already there before you started. And it's evident that learning in virtual reality is 400% more immersive. It gets in your brain much better than reading a book. When I was in history class, it was boring. You heard about a war, about an emperor. It was the same. But imagine a 10-year-old boy in Circus Maximus seeing the lions and the gladiators, and you're in the midst of it. You say, oh, I want to go to history, or being a blood cell and traveling through your body, or being an atom or a quantum or whatsoever, and being there. It's exciting. So you can transfer knowledge, and you can do it with complex, you can do it for customers. It was very interesting with a very big electronic company here in Europe. They said, we make ceilings very expensive. They have protection against fire, water, but there's all data lines. And the customers ask, why do I have to pay $200,000 for a ceiling? So you get a headset, and then it kind of open up and you see all the wires and data transfer and built-in computers, and then you understand. So marketing, learning is very beneficial. Here we have the TÜV industry. So if you learn to move a crane, you do it in virtual reality with the same remote. But if you destroy a house by incident, it's just in virtual reality. And the crane driver license, you can do a full one in virtual reality. And whenever you enhance productivity, then Magic Horizons comes in place. So we have company partners doing learning and training, like 50 minutes, another 5 minutes, a Magic Horizons exercise. So our brain is a muscle. So the more input we have, you need these relief times, and there it's where we come in place. So I see a bright future. It's evolving, it's coming, the technology is there, and it's up to the companies, it's up to the content, it's up to the use cases to find meaningful use cases. And I think we are at a very interesting time. AI comes in place, machine learning, blockchain, other technologies, but having a new interface than all these planar computer interfaces, smart, it's all planar. We are not really in there. We all know the normal video calls, but being there, having the feeling of presence, it's a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Martin, where would you like viewers or listeners to go to learn more about Magic Horizons?
Sorry, can you repeat? I haven't understood.
That's okay. Where would you like for viewers or listeners to go to learn more about Magic Horizons?
Yeah, like Giorgio mentioned, go to our website. On our website, you can learn a lot of our different verticals we have. We explain quite deep. And of course, please feel free to contact us. That's also possible. On the website are the contacts from us here in Europe, but it's also possible to contact Todd directly. So if you are out of the US, of course, it's easier to have a native speaker like Todd. And then it's not happening that I don't get the question right.
What's the website, Martin?
It's magic-horizons.com.
Perfect. And is there an email that people could use?
It's info.
Yeah.
Info at magic-horizons.com.
Info at magichorizons.com.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, Martin,
check our YouTube channel. We have a lot of use cases. You can see elderly laughing for joy, having the headsets from hospitals and different use cases. We are on Facebook. We are on LinkedIn, on Instagram. And it's all the social media handles is all in one place on our website. And as Martin said, we are always here, strive for the best, and want to get into contact and talk to customers, listen to them, learn from them.
Absolutely. And we're, since I am a brand ambassador, we're looking forward to making a lot of great videos showcasing all the tremendous benefits of Magic Horizons. And Todd, Martin Giorgio, we just so appreciate the work you guys are doing. It's incredible. I am not saying that lightly. You won't fully grasp how amazing it is until you've actually experienced it for yourself. But you can take my word for it and these gentlemen's word for it. It is just revolutionary how beneficial and extremely amazing Magic Horizons is. So thank you guys so much. We look forward to continuing to work with you, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lance. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much from our end for supporting us. It was a great, great pleasure. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you for joining us today here at All Home Care Matters. All Home Care Matters is here to help families as they navigate these long-term care issues. We invite you to visit us at allhomecarematters.com, where there's a private, secure, fillable form where you can give us feedback, show ideas, or if you have questions. Every form is read and responded to. And remember, you can listen to the show on any of your favorite podcast streaming platforms or watch the show on our official YouTube channel. Just make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. I'd also like to say thank you again to the team at Magic Horizons, Giorgio, Martin, and Todd. We look forward to seeing you again here at All Home Care Matters.
Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to you joining us again on another episode of All Home Care Matters. To learn more about the show and to connect with us, visit us at allhomecarematters.com.